First of all, I'm Emma Smallbone. Uh, I'm a druid. I'm autistic. I'm an integration guide, and I'm a psychedelics. I don't know how that's going to go. Integration guide and spiritual integration guide. So I take the wisdom of the trip. Well, we take the wisdom of the trip because you've got to do the work. And then I hold space for that processing, which I've learned as an autistic adult is where my true magic is. That when I can actually slow down and look at the work I'm doing and maybe look at it from a different perspective and, really integrate the wisdom that I've been continually receiving for probably the last 10 years. Um, Now the things are kind of clicking together to make it easier for me to do this work. One of them is this. I have a sensory processing disorder, and I knew that light affected me, but I had no idea how much until I started to decide to do some of these things for myself just on a regular basis. Like if I'm reading, like these don't have a prescription in them. If I'm reading or I'm just sitting here in the house, I have these on because I do enjoy having like a bright house, but sometimes it's just too much. And like my nervous system can't handle right now as a perimenopausal woman going through all those hormone shifts. Um, and if you're confused about the gender thing, I don't really prescribe to gender. I know that seems like such an odd thing to say, but I don't really understand any of them. So I just choose to express on the day how I feel. So if that is confusing for some people, I get it, but it's just the way that I work. And I'm also learning that that is good enough. I don't need to explain any more about that. So, what I'm here to talk about today and what I've really been putting together over the last 5 years is understanding how my body interacts with this bigger thing called the planet, and how, when I was at my lowest, I was called to the forest. And in the forest, I found myself again when I didn't think it was going to be possible. I mean, I'd gone through burnouts before. I thought they were mental health. Like, I thought it was depression, anxiety, all of those things that, essentially drives you into the ground and insanity. But it was actually the tism. And as soon as I started to understand how my body processes information, and how easily I do get overwhelmed with it, especially now that my hormones, like my estrogen has dropped. Is it when I think it is. My estrogen has dropped, so I'm getting a headache and I'm feeling like super overstimulated. But also, and I realized this morning, my husband bought me a lovely bouquet of flowers. And actually, I have to go and take that out as soon as I'm done this video. Um, and I think it's actually overstimulating our sensory sensitivities. Also, my kiddo, because we've been on a wild ride this last week. Um, if you don't know, the Schumann resonance is the vibration of the planet, and it's affected by a ton of different things, but the main kind of instigator are solar flares from the sun. And as the sun rotates, it's kind of spewing out these cycles, and some of these sunspots get bigger, smaller, and they're forever shifting. So, you know, over the past 10 years that I've been following it, we used to get, like, 1 spike maybe once a month, and that was kind of like, "Ooh, oh, that was exciting," and we would all chat about, like, "Oh, wow, did you see the Schumann spike?" What's been happening over the last 5 years is it's been buzzing more and more, and its vibration is affecting some of us neurodivergents, and I'm not gonna say all of us because I can only speak to my experience, but some of us, a lot of us, are feeling this kind of like, "What's going on?" Like, I really feel the urge to learn more about something specific, or, "Oh my goodness, I'm just realizing I'm divergent and that if I do these things, I am actually somewhat, I don't wanna say invincible's not the right word because I still have my days. I still have my, like, I have had enough. Like, last night, I just had to leave the house. I was very overstimulated, and I'm even feeling that now, and for me, like, the Schumann is spiking right now. It was funny because I went to do this video about an hour ago, and I was feeling really nauseous. And I thought, well, let's just check before I go on to see what's going on because I'm usually either right before or right as it's spiking. And it was spiking, and I'm like wanting to vomit. Um, and my ears ring like crazy, and it's a total physiological experience for me. And to counteract that so I don't get dysregulated, I have to use everything I have to contain and not I don't contain's the wrong word because you want it to kinda just flow through you. You don't wanna hold on to it. You're just like, "Okay, yeah, just do what to me what you need to do to me." Um and just let it go, and don't worry about it, don't stress about it. It's the vibration of the planet. NASA tracks it. There's all sorts of people that have recently become really interested in it. And also, if you're into lymph and fascia stuff right now, you're probably an owner of one of those vibration plates. So right now, to explain this in an analogy that kind of like truly makes sense, the whole entire planet is a vibration plate. And when it has these spikes, it literally shifts our lymph because for neurodivergent individuals, our lymph and fascia systems do not work the same way. We need to constantly be working with those things to be able to not have brain fog and to not be overwhelmed by these vibrations. So, what one of the things that I've been talking about is attuning your frequency because we all have our individual frequency and vibration. And when you hit it and you like are in it, it's very easy for you to be able to make all the connections, to see the dots, and I slip out of it all the time because I have a teenager who is autistic. I have a husband that I believe is divergent in some way, shape, or form, whether it's just he thinks a different way. But he's not like anybody else I've ever met before. I call him my lumberjack, but it would be like Sheldon as a lumberjack, if you can imagine that. And I love him, but we're really rough, like, and I don't wanna say rough in like a, but we push each other because we're literal thinkers and speakers, and we're direct, and that can be really hard. But what I've started to realize is that the more that I attune myself to some of these vibrations that I've been working with, the easier it is for me to access the information I need to do the work that I wanna do. Like, I was like Do you know how long it's been since I've actually written something out and had a plan? My brain has not been able to do this for the last 4 years. I wouldn't have even thought to do this for the last 4 years. And little did I know that maybe wearing sunglasses and headphones would actually allow me to do this. But once you understand that your body is like this living system and it's reacting to the ecosystem that it's in, and everybody is different. Everybody has a different way of living through it. And you have to find the tools that work for you. I use drumming. That was one of the things that I got this massive aha today. And I really don't know what to do with this information. And I'm actually kind of, I don't want to say, I'm so afraid to share this, but it's kind of like, well, where do I put this? And it's a message to me from the earth. And it kills me because I'm a literal thinker. And while I was drumming today, they said, you need to take our messages literally. What are we literally saying to you? And I'm like, well, I'm here to spark everybody's embers and poke the fire and get people kind of thinking about new ways of seeing all of these things. And I'm constantly saying, bang your drum, find the beat and bang the drum. And as soon as I heard that, I realized that the code that they give me is a drum beat because that's the autistic way, is literal communication. And then through metaphor. So like, all of this is a giant, like I could spin all of this into a giant metaphor about the fire and how we need to find our embers and find our spark and really, beat our drum to find our actual frequency and what we're here to do. But it's that literal. And remember how I kept saying, I'm calling in my this really hurts my brain. When I was saying that I'm literally calling in my drum, I don't even know it, like, my brain hurts. And then today, I through the way that they communicate to me, I found all sorts of and everybody's communication is different. For me, they use numbers because I hate them. So, like, when I see numbers and I go, "Ooh," I go, "Oh, that has to be something," because when I have dyscalculia. When I normally look at numbers, it just brings so much anxiety to my body, and I have no idea what to do with them. And it's why money doesn't work for me because I literally and I mean, I'm good at making it when I need to make it because I know how to follow the pattern and the sign to the next thing. And I followed that to integration. And I do believe that integration is the next kind of thing for us, whether that's integrating your trauma from your childhood or integrating the messages that you're receiving from sacred medicine or just even from a spiritual experience. And it's funny because that was one of the things that I was best at. When I was working as a medium, I majority of the time it was people coming to me that had experiences like me that didn't understand what they were experiencing. And I was giving them this kind of foundation of what ritual looks like so then they could maybe hear the voices, maybe hear the beat of the drum a little bit stronger. Um, and also, I've always laughed that I used to hate, um, I used to avoid drum circles like the plague. And I truly do believe that spirit does us in ways that we don't understand. And there is something in a drum beat that is healing for me. And even with that exercise that I showed people yesterday, I don't even know where I've put it anymore. I need to put all of this stuff in one space. But I was showing an exercise you can do with the drum to use the vibration to heal yourself. And there are actual drums, giant drums that you can get the size of a human that you do the exact same thing with. And I just had this moment of, Emma, do it with what you have. Like, one of the things that I really want to encourage people to do is use the tools you have. You don't need to go out and buy any more tools. This is literally the wand that my brother gave me when I was 15 years old. This is from like a ritual I did last summer. This is a tea towel I bought in Alora, and it's got stuffing in it from a teddy bear from my son. This feels more authentic to me, and the sound, this was one of the things that kept coming up for me was every single time I banged my drum, it literally hurt my ears. And it still doesn't sound exactly right, and I know it's because I don't have my drum. I think I'm gonna make a drum. I'm gonna birth a drum, because it needs to be way bigger than this. It needs to be like one of those massive drums. But when I realized that the message that I'm getting all this time is an actual drum beat, and one that I've been doing for a very long time, but I didn't really realize it. And it's my song. And it's so funny because the more that I kind of allow even those words to come forward, my voice settles into its natural place. And I feel more confident in my words and me saying things about my own traditions. I'm finding my roots again, and I'm stepping into them in a way that I never have before, and it feels so powerful. And I do want to help people find that for themselves. So I know that's starting now. Because I am getting crazy shakes in my legs too. And like I said, this is all experimental for me. I truly believe that a lot of our ancestors were doing the same thing, that they were trying to find their song. Like, when you hear about the bards and ovates and all of the wisdom keepers, the medicine women, they were all set out by themselves, and druids love water and fire and rocky places. And when you connect with those things in a very specific way, it brings out your own song. um and I've been finding those beats, and I've been finding those words that feel way more eloquent than anything I could have written. Um, so now it's just this job of documenting, recording, repeating, solidifying. Um, and I can feel like it's just this warm feeling that I can't explain, um, and knowing. And this is something that I wanna teach my fellow neurodivergents is we were stripped of all of this wisdom. That's the piece that we were told that we were too sensitive, like, "Get over it, it's not too bright." No, like, I remember when the teachers would open the curtains and I would just be like, "Oh, no," like a little vampire in the corner, kind of like, "Oh, can I just hide over here?" And often, like, when Corey Hart I should have, like, in the '80s, when Corey Hart came out and said, "I wear my sunglasses at night," that was probably the best year of my life because, like, I literally could wear sunglasses all the time, and I'm now just putting all of these things together, like, my husband last week said something to me about, "When did you feel your best?" And I know he didn't intentionally mean for it to, like, open something up for me, but it totally did. It took me back to a certain time when I was asking myself that all the time, "How do you wanna feel today?" And I was like, "Oh, yeah, I used to do that all the time." And now I don't ever ask myself how I wanna feel. And then, w being autistic, some of us have this wonderful thing, and I'm gonna say it wrong, because my mouth can't it's not a tied tongue, but sometimes I just can't wrap my tongue around it. Alexithymia. Ooh, I think that was actually right. Um, there is a separation between our body and our minds. So I know I'm in my body. I logically know that I am here. But a lot of the time, and especially when I have to close my eyes to talk, then I'm seeing myself out of body, experiencing the world, and I can have a conversation like that and not even like, I don't feel what's happening to my body. So, in that moment, while I'm having that conversation and I'm in my mind's eye, and like, this is what I was doing when I was a medium, I just didn't realize it. Um, you're really separate from your body. Like, really like, that's why mediumship was so easy for me because I could step into that other vibration so easily and connect with anybody's consciousness at the time. I was really good at remote viewing um, when I was doing mediumship. And that's how I got a lot of my information was I would tune into that person and then I could see personal belongings in their house. I could see, I would say, oh, I think this person is coming through because there's this china cabinet in the middle or in the one corner of your dining room area that's near the sliding door, and that door keeps popping open, and it keeps freaking you out because all of your grandmother's china is in there, and you think that it's your grandmother. It is your grandmother, and she's really upset that you did chip that one teacup, and that's how I connected to your loved ones, to consciousness was via remote viewing. That was my step in. And when I didn't use that skill, it was much harder for me to do it. So and I didn't realize that I would do these things. I would use them and then be like, "Yeah, I'm bored of that." And I would stop doing it for a while. And then I would be at a group and somebody would say something along the lines of, "Oh, remember when you were at so and so's house and like you walked us through her house?" And then it would remind me like, "Oh yeah, I do remote viewing." And it's kind of a cool like I used to just say, "Oh, it's a cool trick." Um but it's literally being able to adjust my vibration so I can hop into that. And I know some of this sounds absolutely like left field, but what we're being shown now is that people do all have different ways of communicating. The telepathy tape showed me that possibly that if I used my tools in a little bit different way and I really embraced those things that I thought weren't really useful at all because I kept getting told like, "Oh, no, we don't do it that way." So I was like, "Okay, I'll put that down." Um, and honestly, I think it's what kept me away from drumming for so long because drumming activates me, um, but in a good way. Like, it feels very healing to me, but also when you feel that healing feeling, it loosens things and stuff gets stuck in our joints. And when we're doing somatic movement and when we're doing lymphatic drainage, we're actually loosening some of that trauma that has been stuck within us for so very long. And that was what was happening to me when I was out in the woods doing a whole bunch of exercises. I started moving a certain way and I was releasing my lymph. And that's why I got so skinny so fast because I was essentially doing lymph drainage every day in my own way and I didn't know it. And then that was allowing my brain to have more access to more things because my body wasn't working so hard to take care of itself. And the more that I took care of my body in that way, that I cared for it and nourished it and gave it what it needed in a sense of sensory overloads, I was able to tune more into whatever, consciousness is, the field, or, you want to say you're talking to gods or goddesses or whatever your vibe is. I talk to trees. It makes sense for me because I grew up in the woods. I understand how to talk to animals. I understand. I've always had a connection, and it sounds in my head like a language. That's my language, is nature. My language is the Ogham and the language of the ancient of my ancestors. And we did beat the drum and we did sit by fires and we did spark each other's embers at the solstices and the equinox. And that's what I'm here to do now, is to spark your embers and make you realize that these things that maybe you thought were like things that made you disabled or things that made you different, are actually the things that are here to help you. And when we actually truly give ourselves the self love, like wearing these sunglasses and wearing these headphones and using a weighted blanket, for me is the deepest form of self care because then I'm letting my body rest. Like today, after all of this, I know I'm going to have to rest because I channeled for 3 days and I've had a lot of really big ahas for myself, for my family, for my business. This equinox portal has been overwhelmingly abundant for me. And I want to now take my time to go through all of those things and bring it to you in a way that makes sense. And that's what I'm really good at. I'm good at taking these really massive, like the Schumann resonance and frequency and vibrations and lymph drainage and fascia. And I connect all of those things together, the neurobiology of it, and make it more accessible for people because I know we can't all afford a, $4,000 retreat to Ecuador to try somebody else's medicine, to be honest. And there are ways to access these things that you don't have to take any of these medicines. Like, yes, I take these medicines because I'm autistic. And if I don't take some of these medicines, my brain just spirals and does not stop at all. And it will be thinking about all of those subjects all at once. And it just, burnout, dude. And I have done this my whole entire life. and other people have benefited from it. So now it's my turn to benefit from all of these experiments that I've done of my life and all of this wisdom that I've been accumulating all of this time. I can now put it into something that I can share with people and that I can give back in a way that I received. Yes, was I harmed in the spiritual community? Yes. But I did also find some really amazing people that have truly supported me from day one. And I have found a wild little community in my wild healing and in my even local community here now that I know I'm so supported. I know I can get through anything because right now my kid is a teenager and I'm in perimenopause and my partner is just flabbergasted, and I get it. I totally, do understand. So now I have to put this into a system that makes this work for all of us, for me, my family, my community, and that includes you guys. So I'm gonna find a bunch of different ways to bring this forward, but if you want to get the firsthand development of what I'm doing and what the foundation of my work is, you can watch me work through it all in my paid um Substack. Sorry, my brain, I can feel it literally going, "Okay, we've only got so much juice left." Um so subscribe, join my Substack, learn from all sorts of different people so you can find your own personal language. I'm going to help you form the framework so then you can build your own language so then you can communicate with whoever you want to communicate with. Um, it starts with ritual without rules, it turns into the shedding, and then we go into the wild healing. That's when you integrate everything. So now I get to put it all together, which, oh, my brain is so ready for. It's been resting. But I really truly do feel like for me anyway, at this time, this vibration and this Schumann resonance is like an activation in my brain that's literally going, okay, let's go. I'm ready. But also put on the brakes a little bit. You want to go slowly. Because I've learned, I've been around this cycle before. I've been around this block, first with photography, and then second with mediumship, and then with the woo shop. I've watched it go, and I'm gonna enjoy it this time, and I'm gonna slow down, and I'm gonna share the process because I don't think it needs to take as long as it took me. But I think it needed to take me this long because I needed to work out all the individual pieces in my brain before I could put it all together. And that's the Gestalt way of learning. Literally, this is what my brain looks like on the inside. And I've got all these subjects that I'm interested in, and I'm cycling through all of those things all the time. And that's autism or ADHD for me anyway. And when I learned to slow some of those things down through meditation, through physical activity, and for me, it's through cannabis. Um, and don't worry, I'm not stoned all the time. It just honestly, for ADHD people, there's a couple of different terpenes that just make us normal. Um, I had this one, bag this week, and I was like, "I don't think I'm stoned." But then I would, sit down and smoke a whole joint, and then I'd be like, "I'm just really normal." This is, it's literally just taken me to a place where and it's limonene if you're interested. That's the one specific to ADHD. There's a bunch of other terpenes too that can adjust it. But like, this is what I'm saying. My brain knows all of the pieces. And so much so that when I kind of talk about it, it gets like I almost get nauseous when I talk about bringing all the pieces together because I can feel how fast my brain is working. And I think that's what makes me nauseous. Like it's almost like, and that's why I have to close my eyes to calm all of that down. Because if I have my, this is not how it works for everybody, but when I have my eyes open, that's when I trance. It's a druidic thing, I think, is an open-eyed trance, and I don't really, um, know how to explain it, but my stigmatism helps. I'm like that person with the old witch in the woods with the lazy eye that goes this way. But I can uncross my vision, and a lot of, autistics can do this, or neurodivergent people can do this. Is like you unfocus your eyes, and I literally go into another space, time, dimension, place, and I can interact with what I'm looking at, and I just kind of and I'm not, like, saying I'm there manipulating all the things and talking to people. It's no, I can experience a little bit of that energy and bring it back, and then it's like, "Oh, yeah, now I know what that is." And I feel it in my body. Um, and I do that with about 10 or 15 subjects at a time. Like, I can't, there isn't a limitless amount of space in my head, but I can hyper focus on probably 10 things at once and know a ton of things about each of one of those things. And when I decide that I am done, it just shuts off. And I can probably re-access it. Like, I know for me, all the gods, goddesses, all of that information that I used to teach them. Oh, and I get so, yeah. When I try to pull them in all at once, it makes me really nauseous. Um, and this is one of the things that I wanna help people understand is your body truly is your intuition. And when you can clear away all of the layers of conditioning, when you were told you were too much and you like, come on, it's not that loud, or come on, it's not that bright. Just get over it. You don't have to wear your headphones in the restaurant all the time. Like, why do you have to, like, once you get past that and you get to a place where you're like, no, this stuff actually helps me in such a significant way that I can calm my body and then access all that wisdom without the nausea, without the pain, because when I would feel those things before, the nausea, I would get worried. I would get worried that something is going wrong in my body. I have had all the tests, people. My doctor really wanted to prove that it wasn't the tism. So I've had all the tests and I've done all the blood work, and they're like, literally, there is nothing wrong with you. And I remember I went to do this cardiology test because they were very worried about putting me on ADHD medication. And so they had to have me go do this heart test. So I had to go and run on a treadmill, and you're breathing and doing all of the things. And I got so into like, I'm going to beat this. I ran for 10 minutes. I've never, and like when I got off the treadmill, I turned and I looked at the person and I was like, okay, so like, how'd I do? And they just looked at me with this like confounded look on myself or on themselves, like, you just ran for 10 minutes. And then I went into the heart specialist and sat down with him. And the first question he said to me is, why are you here? And I said, "That's a really good question because I just want some medication to help my brain stop spiraling, and everybody thinks I'm unhealthy." And he said, "For your age, you should be incredibly proud of where you are physically." But for me, I literally had to hear a doctor say that to me, that there is nothing wrong with you, that your heart is stronger than at the time, I think I was 47, for a 47-year-old, and they just looked at me like, "There's nothing wrong with you. Like, just keep doing what you're doing and you'll be fine." And that's when I realized, like, why do I keep getting told that I'm doing the wrong thing? And then I go and do the thing, and everybody tells me you're doing exactly the thing, keep going. So that's when I started to like really look at the shadow work and go, well, I think I just need to push back a little bit harder. Like, I think I just need to start telling people this is the way that I see the world. And when I started to say these things out loud, and say that I do feel these things, lots of stuff started lining up and making it easier for me to accomplish these things. Um, and yeah, I think I'm I'm ready to bang my drum, and be the, you know, the person that I am that has to wear sunglasses and headphones and bang my drum in the woods and call the mushrooms back because that's what I'm doing. Um, I saw a Paul Stamets interview once about this idea that there is a connection to tribal, like, drumming and dancing and mushrooms. So I need to go back and find that because I will tell you, since I've been drumming on my property here in Puslinch, Ontario, Canada, the amount of mushrooms that are showing up in the forest have been insane. So if you want to bring mushrooms to your forest, here's the tip of the day. Start banging your drum any way you want. Seriously, stop following other people's traditions. Find your own traditions. Find your language and just go be wild, go be free, go live divergently. I think I tried to do this once before, like, subscribe, all the things, but then I caught another wave. And this is how it goes. I just got to do these until I get the whole story out a million times. So join in. Like I said, the paid level will get way more in-depth videos about each of these aspects of the process that I've figured out for myself. And it's not going to work for everybody, but you may be able to glean something from my process and the way that I arrived here. And you may be able to just tick over on into something that is really like aha for you. I have one of my friends right now going through it. Like all of the signs showing up are just ridiculous. And I love it. It's so awesome to now be able to watch people go through the exact same thing where you're like, oh my God, 5 years ago, I like felt like I was so crazy because people were like, no, I've never felt that. I'm finding my people because I'm literally banging my drum. Okay, wildlings. Go be wild, go be free, go live divergently. I love you all.